Hello. I will talk today about the three topics: offline first, graph database, and async await. First of all, about myself, my name is Thomas Brus. I started with developing Excel macros in 2014. That was my start, let's say. In 2017, in the beginning, I developed Visual Basic.NET, and 6 months ago, I started with JavaScript. And my first app I developed is called Sport BI. And Sport BI is a website which offers a random workout generator. So if you go to the gym and make exercises, you get every day a different workout. So you really challenge your body every day and you have good progress. And every day you shock your body really. And today I will show you the questions I ran through when I learned JS with my playground, which is the app Sport BI. The first topic I will cover is offline first. My first question was, is it possible to create a completely offline website? And the simple answer is yes, it's possible. And the side answer is yes, you need to connect to the website at least one time, of course, to get the data. My second question was, how can the client receive data and use the data? Basically, there are 4 ways: cookies, local storage, session storage, and IndexedDB. I decided for IndexedDB, and my third question was, who can use IndexedDB? Here on the right corner, you can see that there is 94% global coverage of the browsers that can use IndexedDB. My fourth question was, how does IndexedDB look like in the browser? So what you see here is Chrome, and you see the developer tools on the right side. If you go to application, you can see a point which is called IndexedDB, and below that you can see the databases. Here there are 2 databases which are schemata and training. And by the way, on the left side you can see the app Sport BI, which is showing a random workout for that day. Hopla. My next question was, how does IndexedDB look like? Again, in Chrome application. Now I'm in the database training and in the table exercise. What you see here are different exercises. I have opened one exercise. It's showing you an object with details about this specific exercise. My 6th question was, how can I talk to IndexedDB? Well, there are different libraries worth checking out. My choice was called Dexy. My 7th question was, how can I make create, read, update, and delete to the database? Here you can see, for example, how I can create an entry. In the 20 line, I don't know if you can see it very good, it's the 3rd line, I connect to the database. The arrow shows user, which is basically the table user in the IndexedDB. The second word is put, and then I put an object, which is the object you see here on the right side. So I've just created an entry to IndexedDB. Next was, how can I make read? It's also very easy. First of all, you just connect to the database. The variable is called db, then table user again, to array, and what I return is the item, the first array, item 0. And I, again, have the first item of this user table. Regarding update and delete, I will skip that just for timely reasons, but in the break we can talk about it, it's not a problem. My 8th question was, how complex can I make queries? And for example, Dexy is quite powerful. You have many ways to query the database. I have highlighted the, let's say, most important ones for me, I think. And you can see, yeah, you can make good things, powerful things. My 9th question was, how to make the files available offline. So it's one thing to have the data offline, but it's another thing to have the files offline, like HTML, JS, and CSS. Let's say state-of-the-art technology is service workers. But why didn't I choose it? It's because of the global coverage of about 74%. And you can see, for example, Internet Explorer and Edge is not supported. And yeah, this is the reason why I didn't choose it. Then how can I make the files available offline in another way? And I chose Manifest. The library is called Gulp Manifest. It's hard to read here actually, but I will explain it. On the left side I have a Gulp task, which is basically where I define all the folders, the JS folders and CSS folders I need to cache. And what it creates every time I make a build is that it creates a file which is this app.manifest file, which lists all the files I want to cache. In the next step, I have 3 files. The first one here on top is an iframe. I can include it in every website. The source here, where the arrow starts, the route is called /manifest, which is basically this HTML document, manifest EJS or manifest HTML. If it in the HTML tag there is app.manifest, so if this HTML document is loaded, it runs into the route app manifest, which is then again referring to the previously generated app manifest. And here below the below arrow is just the manifest route, the normal route. Okay, the 11th question is, what is the result? The result is on the left side, you can see again Chrome Developer Tools. In application, if you go to clear storage, you can see this chart, this diagram. There is a blue area, which is the application cache, which is currently 4 megabytes. And you can see the IndexedDB, which is currently 1.4 megabytes. Here you can also delete if needed. And yeah, you have an offline application. That's the result. And I can also show you. We can try it one time. Wait a sec. For example, here I'm on meetup.com. I have no connection at all. You can see it here. If I go to meetup.com, it's not working because I have no connection. If I go to Sport BI workout, then it's working. And it's completely working offline now. And I can refresh my exercises. I can switch the dates. It's storing all my workouts I had in the past. And yeah, this is offline first. Then my second topic is Graph database. So while I was developing my Sport BI app, I was also wondering, how should I store the data on the server? Well, the classic way is to use a relational database where you have also relations, but you need to write the fields always 2 times in different tables. Like the yellows are in 2 tables, the greens are in 2 tables, the blues are in 2 tables. I was challenging the technologies out there, and the second one was graph databases, and I was wondering, should I use graph databases? Finally, I took it, and I decided for the technology which is called, or the vendor which is called Neo4j. Here on the right side, you can see also other vendors. And below here, the links, you can see how to install it on Linux and Windows. And in general, just to describe what is a graph database, well, you normally have nodes. Here you can see node user, and you normally have relationships. And here in this graph, we have node user and the relationship followers. And these different names, which are all users, are following each other. So this is a very simple graph. My second question for graph databases was, how can I run it once it's installed? If you have installed it, you can run this link. It's localhost and the port /browser. What you receive is a very nice interface, very powerful, where you can write your database query here in order to test it, and it returns you a graph, but also the text form. So you can see how it's, you can see the query live. My third question was how to read the data. Well, I have here a simple example from the Sport BI app. Here you can see a person, this is the green one. And on the other side, you can see an exercise, which is the gray one. And in between is a relationship, which is called makes. So in other words, you can say a person makes an exercise. So this is the simple interpretation of this graph. What I want to show you is that every element, for example, the person here, can have different properties within this node. You can see it here below. But also a relationship like makes can have different properties. But also the exercise can have different properties. And you can query all those properties. Now let's make a query with JavaScript, but before I start, let's do it without JavaScript. So a human would say, find the person that makes the exercise, which is called, let's say, seated cable rows. A machine, and translated into the Neo4j database, would say, match person makes exercise, square brackets, and then the exercise name, and return the name of the person. What you can see here is in red letters, you can see P person, R makes, E exercise. It's just, you don't need it really, but it's good to have it because you can reuse this variable P. For example, in the second line, I say return P name, but in order to return the name of the person, I need to, in the first row, say that the person is P, you know. Yeah. Okay, how can I make the query with JavaScript? I took the same query like you have just seen it. It's a variable just called query, and I passed this string basically to a helper function, which I just reuse every time. It's just a query to the database, so you set it up one time and that's it. And it's the same if you also do it in this Neo4j interface. And the result is pname, and this is what is returned then. This is, these are the helper functions, what I've just talked, that I passed the query, and it's then querying the database. On the left side, you can see the JavaScript driver, which comes from Neo4j directly. So I would suggest to use it because it opens the session and closes the session. But you can also do it with a post. It's also possible, but you should use what's coming from Neo4j directly. Okay, my next point is JS async await. When I started to develop this JavaScript, I ran into the question, do I really have to do it like that? It's like, I couldn't really understand that there is no other way. And my second question was, of course, are there any alternatives? And yeah, the alternative is using promises and async await. And in order to use it, you need to start your function always with async as a prefix, and then you can use, before you can use always await. And here I made a very extreme example, also from the workout generator. Basically, I'm calling a function with await, and the variables I pass to that function are also having await. So yeah, you can also nest the await functions. Yeah. My third question was, how is it supported again, especially for the front end? And we have global coverage of 90%, especially Internet Explorer makes problems again. And because the workout generator, Sport BI, is mainly used on mobiles, it's a topic, because mobiles are also not so well supported by JS async await. So my fourth question was then, how can I reach more compatibility for async await, e.g. also for example, also for Internet Explorer? And it's possible. You can compile it down to ES215, for example. And yes, I used Babel, and also here to get an Uglify with Internet Explorer 8. And it allowed me, or the result is that you have no async await in your code anymore. You cannot read it, it's not readable, but the async await is away and the app is still working. And you have it compatible for older browsers as well, which is very, very important. That's it, thanks.